What's up, everybody? This is Dark Macek with Brutally Delicious, coming at you with a review of HammerFall's brand new album, Avenge the Fallen. Okay, so HammerFall's been around for over 25 years at this point. Unlike most bands that have been around that long, they didn't have some weird stylistic change and then revert to their original style later on. You know how like Overkill went and did Necroshine and then reverted back with Ironbound and such? This band, I think, has pretty much been the same style since Glory to the Brave in 1997 or whenever it was. I swear it's like the 500th band that Jesper Stromblad was instrumental in creating. But basically, HammerFall has been doing kick-ass heavy metal with a tinge of power for the last 27 years. The band, I believe, rejects the power metal label. That is, they sound less like Rhapsody and more like Judas Priest, I think. The band sound on this album and on many others is just the epitome of heavy metal to me. If you've seen the movie Rockstar and you know what Steel Dragon looked like on stage with Zakk Wylde and Jeff Pilson and Mark Wahlberg, this is the exact kind of metal I would be expecting that band to play. Quintessential kick-ass heavy metal. The production is very crisp. It is inspired. It kicks ass. I don't know how they're still this fresh almost 30 years in. I'm actually thinking this could have been a sequel to Chapter 5 or Crimson Thunder. Those were both released like 20 years ago. The opening track sounds a decent bit like Last Man Standing. Not as in retreading the same ground, but as in they could have been on the same album. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly, but Joachim Kahns should do some kind of clinic, video, YouTube series, whatever, on how to still be an amazing heavy metal vocalist into your mid-50s. Well, let's talk about the songs. The End Justifies. This is like a fuck yeah as soon as the song starts. Right away, there's a lot of really fun double bass. It's incredibly energizing. I'm reminded of their song Heeding the Call, except maybe it's a little bit more modern, a little bit more Judas Priest or Primal Fury. Freedom. Here's another great pseudo power metal track. I say pseudo again because it's more Judas Priest than it is Rhapsody, but it's still got that kind of optimism, and I think every power metal band releases a song called Freedom at some point, or maybe it's just Stratovarius. After checking my notes, I need to add Visions of Atlantis and Battle Beast. The vocals absolutely stand out here. It feels to me what heavy metal is all about. When HammerFall first came out, I bet they were kind of viewed as a throwback kind of band, because at that time, most metal had harsh vocals, and here comes Joachim Kahns, again, hope I pronounced it correctly, singing like a bird. That was retro at that point. At this point, it doesn't feel dated. It just feels like what heavy metal should be and makes the other things seem like a fad. Hope Springs Eternal. This is a great HammerFall-style ballad. It's not too saccharine, but it is the perfect blend of mournful and heavy. I'm reminded of their song Glory Meets the Brave, but I'm also reminded of Forest by Queensryche, released a couple years ago. It's incredible in that oftentimes ballads sound like an afterthought. You know, back in the 80s, they were put in there to get chicks to come to shows. This one was possibly my favorite song on the album. It's just great songcraft. Rise of Evil. I'm going to again say that this was pseudo power metal. It doesn't sound like Luca Turilli is playing guitar on this, but the vibe, and I believe most of the lyrics, are about a fantasy kind of good versus evil. When we pass the age of 16 or something, we realize life is not always black and white, but this takes us back to those halcyon days when it seemed like it was. I don't mean to demean the track by saying that it's escapist, but it is empowering in a way. Last but not least, Time Immemorial. Perfect closer. It's a great blend of optimism, and I thought of the following three phrases when listening to it. 1, the road has been long. 2, our best days are ahead of us. And 3, make the most of your life. Nerd moment. This is not a cover of the Into Eternity song. Seriously, perfect closer. I swear it was like they sat down and said, how do we write a song that is conclusive? Okay, so I totally did not think HammerFall would be topping Hammer of Dawn, which was their album from 2 years ago, that also greatly exceeded expectations. But somehow, they did it. This is an Album of the Year contender for me, and my only request is, stop opening for bands like Helloween or Camelot. Come headline the US, please. With this album, I really hope it happens. Thanks, guys. Rock on.